By the age of 4, many children attend kindy and have regular contact with other children in an environment that prepares them for school. So tell me, Teagan, where should a 4-year-old be in terms of speech development?
4-year-olds and kindy is very much a time where parents recognise that their child might not be keeping up with the other kids in their room. They're also thinking about school next year.
It can be quite distressful, isn't it? Because you go, oh, I thought he was quite
Have I done
advanced,
enough, and what else do I need to do?
I can hear all these other kids and they're,
Yep. And we know this.
You actually go, wow, my kid's so advanced.
I don't tend to meet those families, but I know they're out there.
Yeah, I've heard of them too. No.
Generally by 4, unfamiliar listeners should be able to understand everything your child's saying. And this is where kindy teachers or other kids, it becomes really clear when other children can't understand your child. And with that communication breakdown, unfortunately, we then see the play breaks down. Sometimes the other kids might start avoiding the one that can't be understood because the communication keeps breaking down. They can't do the play that they're trying to do. And that's often what causes a lot of stress for parents when they come in. They say, I don't want my child to be the one that's left out because no one can understand him.
Yes. So
that's usually a really big motivator and a really good time and a good reason to look into speech. But 4-year-olds, again, their minds are just growing so fast and their language is just expanding every single day. It's really hard to keep up sometimes. But they're doing things like telling stories. And there's usually, they might start it with one day or on the weekend, some kind of beginning, talk about something that happened, what went wrong, how it got fixed, and ending, a really nice, simple story. They can also understand a story. When you read a book at night time, they understand that what happened on this page is related to what's happened 6 pages in. When they're younger, they tend to see it more as individual events on each page. But by this age, they really get in the concept of a whole story and it's all connected and it all goes together. And there's a lot of research talking about that narrative development is really important when they get to school because everything becomes, the kids have to read stories and they learn through reading and it's very narrative based when they get to school. In terms of talking, again, it should be non-stop. But they're using some more adult-like structures like and because, so, to combine their sentences together. So you're getting 2 sentences that go together really nicely.
Yes.
They can also understand quite a few instructions.
And give a few instructions.
They'll be giving some, absolutely, especially in play.
And especially telling you how to drive, I found.
Yeah, and they'll notice if you do something wrong.
Yes.
But with that, giving instructions is really important because that helps direct the play.
Yeah.
Each child's giving in their input, so it's important they can tell others what they want to happen, but also understand what others are telling them in the play. They're also using a lot of those what we call negative words, but things like can't, won't,
no,
don't, no. They can
should.
They can really, rear their head at this age, and it's a good sign though, because when we look at the language structures that they're able to put that negative into place, it's a good sign. As frustrating as it is, it's a really good sign. No, I won't do that. Oh, don't do it like that. It's a good sign.
Yep. Okay. So breathe. If your 4-year-old's telling you what you shouldn't be doing,
it's a good sign. They are also starting to count, or many are counting quite easily by now. Shapes and colours are much more consistent. They might be recognising what their name looks like. So on a page of other words, finding their own name. They'll be learning some of the letters. Kindergarten's really good at introducing that. They can also do things like hearing the sounds within words. And this is an area that a lot of kids are struggling with when they start school. They can hear that cat has k, at. And often some kids will be able to tell you at this age what that first sound is. So what does moon start with? And they'll be able to tell you So that's a really, really important skill. We call this the early literacy skills that we want children to be having before they go to school. Otherwise we get kids who know the alphabet and they can say A says a, and B says, but when it comes to reading, they have no idea what to do with those letters and sounds. So increasing that sound awareness is really, really important. I could ramble all day about early literacy skills, but I won't. I can do that on another one.
We will.
And so things like using grammar, they're using full sentences, they've got ing on the ends of words when it should be, they've got their past tense. They are also starting to change when the rules, instead of it being runned, we change it to ran. I ran really fast. You might still get runned, and that's a really good opportunity to model, yeah, you ran really fast. I saw how you ran really fast. That's one of those more advanced grammatical skills, but they're starting to do all these sorts of things.
So should you say to the child, no, it's not that, it's this, or should you just correct it without even bringing it to their attention?
Correct it without necessarily bringing it to their attention, because if we say it's not that, it's this, they're going to start shutting down. You're not listening to what I was telling you.
Yeah.
Which to me was really exciting. I ran really fast, but you didn't hear that. You just heard run. So we talk about recasting. You ran really fast. I saw that.
Okay.
Rather than saying, not run, it's ran.
Yeah.
That just sort of shuts down the interaction, and they're not really interested in that kind of teaching in that moment.
Okay.
So it's a nice point to bring up.
Yeah, because I do it with my kids. No, it's not that, it's this. But yeah, that's awesome.
It's a little more gentle to skip that line and go straight to modelling what it should be.
So even if you go, oh good, you ran, that's awesome. But next you said run, so it's ran. So you couldn't.
For an older child, but not for 4. Okay. If they're still doing that at 8.
Lucky I don't have a 4-year-old anymore.
If they're still doing that at 8, older, it's worthwhile. You might need to make it much more explicit, because they obviously haven't picked it up
through those
by
years.
then. But certainly for 4-year-olds, we want them to keep
just ignore it and just
model the correct version and keep that conversation going.
Great tip, love it. So what are some things then that could be a cause for concern?
Lots of things.
Yeah.
Not following stories, not being able to tell you what they did today, or being able to tell you what just happened.
Because what did you do today? Nothing. It starts at about this age. So
and sometimes
it needs to be a
it's
better
motivation,
question.
but sometimes
they're tired.
And sometimes the only thing they remember was that one play activity in the afternoon.
Yeah. So it might be, who did you play with today?
Yeah. So you just might need to make it more specific. And when you do make those questions more specific, we expect them to be able to answer it.
Yes.
Who did you go to the aquarium with today?
Yes.
For example. You can tell what we did on the weekend.
Yeah.
Also, if they're not using nice long sentences with all of the little words in there, complete sentences, pronouns are sometimes still a bit tricky at this age, but should be improving.
Yeah.
Everyone tends to be a boy, especially to little boys.
Yeah.
You would get called a man. It's not an insult, that's little boys. If they're not getting any concept of counting or colours, or being able to understand things like the same and the different and describing,
they're all little
any of those
signs.
sorts of things, or if you can't understand your child.
Definitely a problem now. Yep. So what are some things that parents can try at home then with their 4-year-old?
The recasting we spoke about just before. So even if your child says snake for snake, oh, the snake, that snake. That snake's going that snake's going under the couch. What do we do when we see snakes? Keep talking about snakes. You can put a tiny bit of emphasis on.
Yes.
But we don't want to shut down the interaction by saying it's not naked snake.
Yeah, okay.
You forgot this. They're sort of not interested in that conversation.
Okay.
So that sort of recasting is really, really good at this age for speech sounds, but also any language errors. So when they say he is sitting on the couch, she is sitting on the couch. She is sitting with her legs crossed on the couch, and keep talking about that conversation with the error corrected.
Okay.
It's a strategy called recasting, and it's probably one of the single best things you can do for your child. And it keeps the conversation going. It's natural. It's just as it's needed. You don't sort of have to go, today I need to teach this, because nobody's got time for that.
No.
And it's just a way that you can respond when your child has an error.
I love it. If your child is struggling to communicate with the teachers or other children at kindy, it may be a sign that something's not quite right. So if you have any concerns whatsoever, don't hesitate to get into contact with the Talk Time Speech and Language Pathology Centre today.